A little more than a mile out in the ocean off the coast of San Francisco is a rocky islet swept by frosty winds and eddied with dangerous currents. A name that gives the spine shiver: Alcatraz. It was called the Rock, and it held the most dangerous criminals of America. But besides being a castle of steel and stone, it is said to be one of the most haunted locations in the United States. Alcatraz did not start as a prison. It was initially used as a military fort and a military prison, and finally turned into a maximum security federal penitentiary in 1934. In the following 29 years, it possessed the cream of the crop: Al Capone, George Machine Gun Kelly, and Robert Stroud, the notorious Birdman. But the weird things that occurred during and after those years are the things that are not mentioned in history books. Things that cannot be logically explained. It had started small, guards complaining of weird noises in the night shift, crying, moaning, chains dragging, doors creaking open and bang shut without anyone around. Experienced officers, one after another, started to get restless. Even hardcore criminals shunned certain areas. Cell Block D was the worst. It was called the Hole. That is where inmates were sent to get punished. Complete isolation, darkness, and silence. The walls appeared to be narrowing in. A lot of inmates came out of that block rattled, if they came out at all. There was one prisoner who left a tale that sent shivers all over the prison. A prisoner in the early 1940s was put in D14, which was a pitch-black cell that had a mattress and a toilet only. Soon after he was locked in, he began to scream. He alleged that there was something in the cell with him, something that had red, flaming eyes. It seemed to the guards merely an effect of fear or delirium. And the screaming went on for hours, and then it was suddenly silent. The following morning they discovered that he was dead, strangled, his countenance grim with fear. It was officially identified as a suicide, but guards murmured something different. Some said they saw marks of claws upon his flesh. Some others thought that the cell was haunted. Not many days later, D14 was closed off. The years went by and there were other incidents. Prisoners reported being grabbed by invisible hands, cold spots, and disembodied voices. Others went insane and would not sleep lest the voices should speak to them in the dark. And not only prisoners. Alcatraz was turned into a tourist site after the prison was closed in 1963. Yet the shadows appeared to be present even during the day. The tourists have complained of hearing people sob in empty corridors, doors banging and footsteps resonating when there is nobody around. Others spoke of sudden changes in temperature, even in hot summer days. Guides have heard silhouettes racing by open cells and have seen nothing. The most famous, or rather infamous, ghost story is the one connected with Al Capone. In his last years at Alcatraz, Capone was in a poor mental and physical condition. He was afraid that somebody, or something, was pursuing him. He requested to stay in the prison hospital and spent much time in the shower room, playing his banjo and practicing by himself. Even to the present day, several visitors and employees have stated that they have heard banjo music playing quietly in the old shower block, even when the room was deserted and locked. Next is the account of an old-timer, now deceased, who was a guard and worked the night shifts in the 1950s. He described an incident when, one evening, he was observing a group of prisoners who were quietly walking the corridor wearing old-fashioned prison uniforms, but on his coming near, the shapes melted away into nothingness. That night he asked to be transferred. The island has in recent years played host to paranormal investigators who visit with the hope of capturing evidence of the supernatural. Others returned with creepy EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, including whispers of "get out" or "still here." One of the more popular mediums stated that the whole island is covered with the emotional residue, the psychic energy of thousands of tortured souls confined to a place designed on punishment and pain. Even the Native Americans who protested by taking over the island in the 1970s termed it a place of suffering. They also had the belief that spirits roamed freely, particularly at night. And why do these souls linger then, one asks? Others think they are after justice. Some others believe that they are caught by guilt, vengeance, or loss of hope. Or maybe it is that Alcatraz is now more than a prison, a shareholder of the hurt of the past. Nowadays, visitors continue taking boats to the Rock. People snap pictures, tour the cell blocks, and hear the history. But some people go home with more than memories. They go away with stories of steps behind them when nobody is there, of chilliest shivers that chant away, of low banjo music on the air, and murmurs that say, "Did you hear it also?" So when you ever go to Alcatraz, keep near the party, do not go off track, and whatever you do, do not look round if you hear someone whisper your name. Since on the Rock, not all prisoners walk